Namaste. Today we will read a verse from Bhagavad Gita, second chapter. This is the 30th verse. Dehi nityam avadhyoyam dehe sarvasya bharata tasmat sarvani bhutani natvam shocitumarhasi. Na tvam shocitum arhasi, which means don't be sad. In the body of all, the indwelling self is ever indestructible. Hence, you must not grieve over any being, living or non-living. Bodies are evidently many, but the soul in all these is one. It is indestructible. Fixing the mind firmly on this truth outlive the idea of many souls. So many times our mind says, this person is responsible for my suffering, or this and this, these people are responsible for my suffering. So this point gives us the truth about others and our own true self, because there is only one self. The sense of I am in me and the sense of I am in you are the same formless awareness expressing its presence for itself. In the sky, you can see lots of clouds passing, but you cannot just take the cloud away from the sky. It's all part of one. Just like that, we see so many bodies, so many beings on this planet. 7 billion. That means 7 billion I am senses are there, but in different bodies. We are just talking about the human beings. In each one, there's a sense of I'm here, I am alive, I exist. So this sense I don't mean the words I am here, that knowingness I'm here, that knowingness, it belongs to formless awareness. It has nothing to do with the body. So let's take the animals, for example. Animals, they also have the sense of I am in them. That's why they try their best to survive and do whatever they can to protect their body. They look at the birds. They build beautiful nests and protect their bodies. In winter, they save grains and whatever that is needed to help them to get through the winter. So they all have this sense of I am in them. Birds don't have names like us, but they all have this sense of I am. So even the name that we have, you and I, we all have names, but these names belong to our bodies, just our bodies, not us, the formless awareness. So in this verse, it says, fixing the mind firmly on this truth outlive the idea of many souls. There are no many souls. There's only one true self that is formless everywhere. That is the definition of God. Formless awareness. That is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. It knows everything. Every experience that we are experiencing is the formless awareness in us that's knowing that all our experiences. And in the waking state and in dream state, we start dreaming. Our eyes would be closed, but we can see every object in the dream, even without eyes open. So what does that mean? There's something in us that can experience, that can see without eyes. So in dream state, waking state, and in all our experiences, this formless awareness is present. So we are invited to take a deep look into the subject, not the objects, whoever is perceiving everything. So to help the process, think of space in contrast to air and water. Space is very subtle. It penetrates and surrounds all objects. Can there be any doubt about it? Water and air can be separated by their containers. But the subtle, pervasive space cannot be separated. This is not hard to understand. So think this way to help us. This will help us understand better. The all-pervading soul is also singular. To think of each body having its soul separate from those of the rest is irrational. But senses cannot perceive the truth. Intelligence has to reflect deeply and get at it. It is like thinking of numbers and finally hitting at infinity, which cannot be shown or displayed. So what it says is, even though we perceive duality everywhere, there is only one here. That's why it says not two. Advaita. Advaita means non-duality. Advaita means not two. There's only one. So the seer and the scenery, it's just one. Seer is the formless awareness, is the seer. The scenery, including our bodies. Scenery is an appearance. It's an appearance within the formless awareness. This is a great point to contemplate. So in the body of all, the indwelling self is ever indestructible. Hence, you must not grieve over any being. So do not be sad about other people, because there's only one here. And it's all a play of one. That's why it's called Leela, divine Leela. Next point, we will read another verse. Sukha dukhe same kritva labha labhau jaya jayo tato yudhvaya yujyasva nevam papamavapsyasi. So in this shloka, the importance of equanimity, practicing equanimity is explained. So that is a huge step on any spiritual path, to practice equanimity. What does that mean? When everything is goody-goody in our life, it's easy to say, I'm peaceful. Nothing touches me. But when things are not so good, people start to be shaken. They cannot sustain the equanimity, the balance, inner balance. So how to practice inner balance, and it's the significance of practicing equanimity is explained in this. Evenize your mind towards sukha and dukkha. Sukha is happiness. Dukkha means sadness. So evenize your mind towards dukkha and sukha, happiness and sadness, gain and loss, victory and defeat, and then engage in war. Here, in our case, war means what? Playing our role. This is all a role play. So playing our role in life as a mother, as a father, as an employee, as a wife, as a husband. We have so many roles to play. So playing these roles without getting stuck in one role, or without having challenges to play the role, that is called a war. So that itself is a war within us, in our mind, inside our mind. So when someone says something negative, and that's all it takes for us to forget every good thing about that person and fall into that trap of mind. So here it says, evenize your mind towards happiness and sadness, gain and loss, victory and defeat, and then engage in war if you need to. Thus, you will not incur sin. So the karma doesn't touch you. When you have the deep-rooted knowledge about who you are, the truth about your true self, that there's only one here. Ishavasyamidam sarvam. That's a sutra from great Upanishads. There's only one here. Whatever you see here, it's all God appearing as different forms. God doesn't become any forms, but it's just appearing. Just like dream objects. When we see a tiger in a dream, does a tiger really come to you? No, it's a dream object. Just like that, in waking state also, these forms that you see and the sounds you hear, the smell, the taste, touch, everything, these are all experiences. All these experiences are appearance of the formless awareness. So with this understanding, we need to train our mind towards equanimity. Having exposed the spiritual and secular aspects of the whole subject, Lord Krishna summarizes the wisdom, the Sankhya teachings, focusing their application to the battlefront, something not found in Vedic Upanishads. Sukha dukkhas, which means happiness and sadness, are the only resultant of all sensory interactions. So there can be only two outcomes, either happiness or sadness, which constitute the world and our life alike, with both inevitable. Both of them are inevitable parts of our life. So do not be overexcited when something nice comes on your way. Do not get so excited and forget about everything and jump up and down. No, do not do that. Because whenever you climb a ladder of excitement, you have to come down. So something that would make you to come down, which means something sad would come to make you get down the ladder of excitement. So what is the point of getting on the ladder in the first place? So this is what's called equanimity. We keep that balance, whatever something, a happiness is coming on our way. That's fine. I'm not saying do not be happy with, no. Do not forget yourself and do not get so excited about it, and don't move from your golden point, that neutral point. And similarly, when something sad happens, remember this knowledge, there's only one here. This happiness and sadness are inevitable part of our life. But we do have a choice to stay in that neutral point. My teacher calls it the golden point. So when you are fixated there, nothing can shake you. When you practice more and more, you will see a huge transformation in your life. So nothing needs to be done to have them or not to. What does that mean? So when something unpleasant happens in our life, there is an urge to resist that, to resist, because we forget the fact that many times it's those unpleasant experiences become a great teacher in our life to help them to move towards maturity, to become more wise, to become more tolerant, more understanding. So these unpleasant teachers, unpleasant experiences become our teachers in life. So do not say, I don't want this to happen, I don't want this to happen, I want this to happen. Because how many times did we see that things happening according to our own will? If that's the case, nothing bad will happen in this world. That's not the case though. So we are all matured enough to understand things do not go as we plan it. There is an invisible flow that pushes, an invisible flow that pushes something on our way, good or bad, pleasant or unpleasant. They all alternate. Doesn't mean we'll get unpleasant things all the time or pleasant things all the time. It's like a river. This flow is like a river. River doesn't mind what it is carrying. It might be carrying rotten leaves, something stinky, but it doesn't mind. So good things and unpleasant things alternately happening in our life, and this is the fact about it. As without dukkha, sukha cannot be. So if we never experienced any unpleasant things in our life, we cannot even completely experience happiness, because unpleasant experiences help us experience happiness in our life better. It really helps us to understand and be grateful for what we have. Dukkha is not undesirable. And as sukha means happiness, is always followed by dukkha. This is the truth about life. It's called in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. There's another scripture, an Indian scripture. It says, every experience ends in dukkha, means sadness. Because happiness, sukha or happiness is always followed by dukkha. Dukkha means sadness. It is not specially desirable either. Be equal-minded to both. This is the point to practice. Then the desires, our mind has so much desires and unfulfilled, many of them are unfulfilled, and it becomes another problem for us. So the desires become less and less when you practice this. Doesn't mean we become like a statue or something like that. No. We understand the truth about desires getting fulfilled, because mind is like a bottomless pot. Whatever you put in it, there's no end to it. The desires are endless. So why run after them? Doesn't mean we shouldn't have desires. We can have desires, we can have preferences. That would be the word I would use, preferences, not attachments. Some desires become attachments that would follow us for lifetimes. So, sukha is always followed by dukkha. It is not specially desirable either. Be equal-minded to both. This even-mindedness is applicable to all events, situations, and ventures. Krishna mentions an assortment of these: gain and loss in one's field of activity, victory and defeat invariably met by all. All these, despite their nature and relevance, result in sukha dukkhas alone. So these alternative experiences of happiness and sadness. This is a cycle. It's a vicious cycle. Then how to move beyond them? This is the point that we can practice. Practice equanimity. What does that mean? When something unpleasant happens, you say, everything changes. Everything changes when it's time, when the time comes. No matter how much money we have, no matter how many relatives we have, no matter how many friends we have, no matter how much possessions we have to leave everything here and leave even the body, leave our body at one point. That is 100% guarantee that life gives us. Everybody has to go. So remembering just this point, we get so much strength to let go. Just let go. Whatever we don't have, it's okay. I have to leave everything at one point. Keep remembering this, because our culture does not encourage us to do this. Our culture and society, no, don't think about that. Don't talk about that. That is the truth. And we are seeing it everywhere. Now, with this COVID season, we know how unpredictable life is. People are, last week, one of our friends, a son who is just 17 years old, he died with COVID. So nobody can predict when we might have to leave our bodies. So practicing this will truly help us to move towards peace. So even-mindedness is applicable to all events, situations, and ventures. So that would be your homework today. And this week, practicing even-mindedness. What does that mean? That goes to media too, because when we hear some news on media, we get so sad and we get so worried and all these things. God didn't give us this something called mind to just worry, worry, worry. No, God gave this instrument for us to discriminate what is real and what is not real. Our soul, the formless awareness, it does not die. It's eternal. This feeling of I am, this is eternal. It doesn't die with the body. What does that mean? We are eternal beings. What do we have to worry then? Whatever come on our way, and we will do whatever we are supposed to do, and whatever roles we are supposed to play, we will do as much as we are comfortable. We don't just overdo it. Just do whatever you are comfortable with. But remember this truth about our own self, that we do not die. We do not, the formless awareness, the true self, doesn't get sick. It's indestructible. So knowing this truth, remembering this truth, we train our mind towards peace. And I pray that all of you can get to do this, practice this, and move beyond this cycle of worries. Thank you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.